Hey guys, it's Emmanuel, your body code practitioner out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, working with Coding Alternative. Just want to do a really quick video in regards to 5 things that for sure give you depression and suicidal tendencies. And this is for body code practitioners, motion code practitioners. This is probably something to confirm with you that I've had my fair share of experience of a lot of clients who deal with depression, and sometimes they think it has to do with their past. And most of it is, but there's some things that are external factors, or there's moments in their life that's almost like they created a certain energy that kind of keeps them in the loop of depression that they don't really know about. And so I wanted to talk about those today. And so go ahead and strap on your seatbelts. We're going to start off with the heart wall. So for those of you who don't know what the heart wall is, it's one of the greatest discoveries in energy healing. It was discovered by Dr. Brad through a vision that he had. And he talks about how that these walls are basically created by trapped emotions that protect the heart from breaking. So I always tell people that it's the body's backup mechanism for to protect yourself from broken heart syndrome, which is a real thing. If you ask a Mayo Clinic cardiologist about broken heart, they'll definitely say that it's derived through emotional trauma. In regards to work trauma, physical abuse, sexual abuse, stress in the work, or a death in the family, or a marriage breakup. I mean, there's so many different things that can cause heart trauma, and your body's just stacking these layers and layers and layers and layers. And I truly believe that we are here. We're all interconnected, and I feel like the more walls you have, the less connected you are. I feel like we were supposed to, feel other people's energy. We're supposed to feel the world's energy. I think we were all, it's almost like we should be all holding hands. And the more the wall keeps growing, I want you guys to picture this, a huge wall, the less your hands can hug people. That's the way I kind of looked at it. Like if you have a very thick wall and someone wants to give you money, your arms couldn't reach it. If you have a very thick wall and your husband wants to embrace you and you don't feel love, it's because you can't touch him because there's such a big wall in between them. The wall actually gets worse because they probably have a wall. So 2 walls stacked on top of each other, it's 2 people who can't really hold each other. And so that's the way I see it, is that wouldn't you get anxiety if you woke up one morning and you had this huge wall there and you're like, I can't eat food, spiritually, emotionally, I can't hug the person I love. I can't feel much. I want to experience a beautiful hike, but I have to carry this wall around me. And so again, it's something that makes you feel depressed because you're not really living, you're not really feeling, And so that's one thing that will definitely cause depression, anxiety, PTSD, and other emotional disorders. That's number 1, is the heart wall. Number 2, there's actually an energy called a will to die energy. Now, what's interesting about this will to die energy is it's basically you want to escape from self-abuse. So you probably had some times in your life where you wanted to just, you're just kind of beating yourself up emotionally. It's something like maybe someone broke up with you, or you didn't get that job, and you're just beating yourself up, and you're like, okay, I'm being very hard on myself, and you kind of want to escape. You're like get me out of here. And that's called the will to die. What's interesting is that when it comes to escape, it reminds me of the word escapism, and it reminds me of Michael Jackson, in the last movie that he made, the documentary that they made on him, he was saying that he was a master at escapism, that his whole goal was to help people to escape their situation, whether they were in debt, bad relationships, or whatever. His music was to elevate them to kind of escape. But here's the problem with escape, is that when you escape, unfortunately, in our lives, we have to return. So if you leave, you have to come back. And so, so it's interesting that at some point you have to come back from the concert. In fact, in a business that I used to be in, they used to say, leave your baggage inside your car, and because it will be there when you get back. Basically, they're saying stay positive in the event that you're here, but and leave you, don't come all sad and depressed and from a hard day's work. Leave that in the car. But they said something very interesting. They said that, trust me, your baggage will be there when you get back. And so very similar. So I think will to die energies, and this new one I'm going to talk about called no will to live. I think a lot of people, when they feel that, they have to escape with drugs, with with sex, with music, with just anything that they can do to kind of escape. But the problem is you will have to come back. And the problem with these energies is that, let's say you had a moment where you wanted to escape because of self-abuse. You think that moment's over, like, okay, I'm over that moment, I'm fine, I'm back on track. The problem is that you actually created an energy that got stuck there that can still make you depressed and can make you suicidal because you had a moment where you wanted to escape. So you kind of still have this fog. The day's not completely clear because you'll always have this little bit of fog where it's like you're just a couple of steps to depression, a couple of steps to suicide. So that's the second one, a will to die energy. That's found in the body code. Obviously, all these things are findings of Dr. Bradley Nelson. It's not something I found. I'm not the author of these things. Also, no will to live energy. So, no will to live energy is when you're very overwhelmed and you lose the desire to live. You just want to just check out. I've even seen some prophets in the Bible. I'm trying to remember who they are. I think it was Elijah. I think it was Moses. I think both of them at some point were like, okay, Mr. God guy up there. I'm kind of tired of life. I'm very overwhelmed and I need to leave. Obviously, prophets don't have that choice. The only way that they can leave their position is if they die, And so, but anyway, the point is that, again, no will to live. If you feel overwhelmed, what do? Some people smoke cigarettes. Some people do drugs. Some people do, they just do things to escape. But the reality is when you come back, you're going to have to deal with this energy actually got stuck in you of no will to live. Again, that one also causes depression. That also causes suicidal tendencies. So we've named 3 so far. Number 1 is the heart wall, which I said is the greatest discovery in energy healing, where no one knows in the world except for body code practitioners, emotion code practitioners, and Dr. Bradley Nelson that there's these energies that are being placed over your heart. The more you have them, the more numb you get. And the more numb you get, the depression you feel, the anxiety, the PTSD, and perhaps even suicidal tendencies. There's a will to die energy, as I mentioned before. There's a no will to live energy that can get stuck. I've seen clients that I have 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 no will to live energies. And the more of them, you can just imagine they probably add more depression and more feelings of, I don't want to be here anymore. The 4th one is called post-hypnotic suggestions. That's you got to be very, very careful with kind of like the music you listen to, because inside the music, there's some suggestive themes in there, and they could be very, very negative. If you're listening to it over and over and over again, you may think you're not being programmed, but you are. In fact, Dr. Major Imbalances, the scientist that dealt with water and changing the biochemistry of water by putting a word there and the crystals start showing up. If you don't know what that I'm talking about, go look up Dr. Major Imbalances water crystals. And basically he found out that words affect the water, but words also affect plants. If you put a little sunflower and you put bad music on it, that sunflower will slowly turn its head away from that speaker. If you put good music, it slowly turns its head to the speaker, just like it would to the sun. So we're the same way. Our body knows when it's hearing low frequency music, it wants to turn away. But we at the end of the day, we're the ones that have our agency to choose. And but if you keep listening to negative thoughts, your body could be rewired. And your subconscious starts taking in these suggestions, these words like life sucks, life is horrible, blah, blah, because you keep hearing it over and over again. And that's something that can also cause depression, and that can also cause suicidal tendencies as well. So that's called post-hypnotic suggestions. They're teenagers who are always plugged in, and they're listening to very negative music. Trust me, if I were to work with them, I would find post-hypnotic suggestions. And that's why you're wondering, like, oh, that's why my son's so negative. Well, that's why, And the last one is entities. Now, some of you guys, I might lose you in this one, but I really do believe, just because I believe in the Bible, that there are entities, disembodied spirits and evil spirits. They're in the Bible there. And I've seen it. I've seen people who can't go to sleep at night because they have sleep paralysis. But then I find in them that there's a demon that's been with them, or a bad spirit, and we need to use the body code to remove it. And what's interesting is that when I ask them what's the underlying reasons why these demon is attracted to them, guess what I find? Sometimes I find will to die energies or no will to live energies. See, if these bad spirits, these disembodied spirits, or these demons, if they could do anything, it'd be to break up the family and to make sure that we don't live anymore. That because they're jealous that we have bodies, that we have choices to make, and that we've almost passed the second test, right? And this is our second test here on Earth. Now, they don't like us because obviously they're very envious of us, and they're angry. And if they could push us to the edge of committing suicide, they would do it. So how would they do this? They would find us and be like, okay, this person has 6 no will to live energies. He's dealing with depression. If I can hang out with him long enough and just associate or kind of like basically connect with you long enough, you're going to feel depression. And if you feel depression, maybe I can push you to what? Suicide. And that no higher glory goes to those disembodied spirits and demons than them pushing you to the edge and taking your life. So again, entities are also part of the body code. Now, Dr. Brad is a chiropractor for 20 years. My father, for example, is an oncologist. He was nervous that he would, people would be like, okay, great, the body code can help out many physical ailments, emotional ailments, all these things like that. But now we're getting to spirits, disembodied spirits. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that. And then he mentioned in a webinar, Dr. Brad, the founder of the Emotion Code Body Code, that he put it in there because he had these bad disembodied spirits yell at him for literally 4 hours straight. And in his mind, he says, if they're so angry, he says, he told me privately too, that that's his cue that he's doing the right thing. And he said, basically, it's not fair that someone were to like really heal many moments of their past, but then what if there was this lingering disembodied spirit or demon hanging out with them because of their past low frequency, that they would never know what would kind of get them out of depression. And it's not fair that they clock in and body code, emotion code practitioners can't clock in too to make sure that they don't come back. And so I think he made a really amazing decision to put that in the body code because, like I said, I deal with a lot of clients who have depression. And if we find all these different things, but there's still something missing, you'd be very surprised there's an entity connected with that person. And that could be the one key that we need to unlock for depression. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. Again, here are the 5 things in the body code system. And if you're dealing with depression, maybe you're like, I've been to a psychologist, I've taken pills, I don't know what else is going on. Well, again, if my father, who's an oncologist, who's anti-holistic health, said, hey, you know what? I read the whole body code manual, I read the whole emotion code book, and the only way I can say is that this man is inspired. The guy who's owned his oncology practice for 30 years said this man's inspired. So there's definitely something to look into. And he says, if anything were to replace Western medicine, it'd be quantum healing, quantum physics. And on the 6th page of the book, I read something about quantum physics, and he said, that's why I decided to read the emotion code. Plus, I worked on my dad's neck, on his back, and I also worked on his heart wall, and he's seen significant change in his life. And he told me, he says, I'm not going to bluff you. I'm going to tell you if I notice any difference. And his neck pain and back pain went away, and he started being more present with his life ever since he cleared his heart wall. And so here are the 5 things. Number 1 is heart wall. Number 2 is will to die. Number 3 is no will to live energy. Number 4 is post-hypnotic suggestions. And number 5 is entities. So hopefully you guys gained something from this. Hopefully I enlightened someone to be like, man, I've tried everything. I don't know why I'm still depressed, why I don't want to live here anymore. I'm telling you, you may want to look into meeting with a body code practitioner like myself, and we can investigate to see why you have the depression. The first thing I always look at is the heart wall, but there's many other things that could be part of that too. So hopefully you gain some insight on this. Hopefully you can pass this to someone. Share this with someone that is dealing with depression. Maybe their kid's dealing with depression. And I'd love to help out, maybe give them a complimentary session. And so we need to get educated on these things. This needs to get out there more. I wish there were 1,000 of me making videos like this, but I really feel like this information that Dr. Bradley Nelson found needs to be told on the top of the housetops of the world. And so with that, this is Emmanuel. I always end my session, or not my session, actually end this video with saying, the world has this false notion where I'll take care of you, you take care of me, but we all know, people who are watching this, that if we take care of ourselves, then we can authentically take care of others. And so as we take care of ourselves, we can change our home, we can change our city, we can change the country, and then eventually we can change the world. So with that, everyone have a great day. I look forward to making the next video, and hopefully you gain some insights on this. Take care. Bye-bye.